Hey guys, thanks for joining me on another exciting adventures in CNC. Today we're in part two of one of my favorite guitars that I've built. It's not just because I use the CNC to build it either. I actually just really like this one. It's made from walnut, as we discussed in the first video. Here it is, routing out the neck pocket. I would say that this CNC, even though it's kind of a budget model CNC, which is kind of hard to believe because they're 600 bucks, I would refer to a tool that's that expensive as a budget model tool. But when you consider the overall cost of more expensive CNCs, this one is definitely a budget model. A lot of people call CNCs in this price range toys, but they're not toys. They definitely aren't. This is a machine that's quite capable. I'm really impressed with it. It's made out of solid Chinesium. No, seriously though, it's all metal. Some of it's aluminum, some of it's steel. Just depends on what part it is, but it's all solid. It's a very heavy, well-built machine, and I really enjoy it. This is not at actual speed. This is sped up, so I don't want you to think that this CNC is that fast. It's not. It takes about oh, I would say probably 40 minutes to route out the neck pocket and control cavity and pickup cavities. So it's not super slow. It also depends on the bit. The bit makes a little bit of a difference. If you have a good quality, good sharp bit in it, it makes the process much faster. But this is a great way to get precision routing done, especially in the neck pocket. It comes out exactly perfect every single time. You don't have to worry about it. It's not off angle a little bit or anything unless you've just not aligned the guitar body right. For the most part, it's a very capable machine. But we'll talk more about that. This guitar, I mixed a lot of different styles and stuff in with it. I did some of it by hand. I did some of it on the CNC. Did some of it freehand. Did some of it with power tools. Did some of it with hand tools. It just depended on what I was doing and what I felt like doing. So there's a lot of different things that I did. All in all, the guitar turned out really well. I'm happy with it. I don't have any sound files on it. I'll try to get those in the next video, which is going to show the neck being made, but this is just routing out the body. Here we go to routing out the neck pickup. Now I used Vectrix Software's Cut 2D. Really find that it's a great program. Very easy to use, very effective for making G-code files for use on a machine like this. Very easy to load into the Mach 3 software. They come out very good. Very few errors in it, and it's easy to track down the errors when they are made. All in all, Vectrix Cut 2D is a great program for the money. I know a lot of people are saying, why don't you use freeware programs on a inexpensive CNC like this? Why spend the money on the software? Well, the better quality software that you have, the better the machine seems to work. I've used some of the freeware programs. A little bit later on in the video, we'll see exactly what happens when you use freeware with a program or with a machine like this. Freeware programs just don't seem to work very well. They're never quite on scale. They're never quite in the right position. There's a lot of problems with the freeware stuff and a machine like this that uses Mach 3. Now I can't say the same on other CNCs, but definitely for this one, it's a major issue. I know that some of the machines that use Arduino and Gerbil seem to be less prone to some of those problems with those freeware software, but I think those less expensive, smaller machines are built with that kind of software in mind. I think Mach 3 is a high-end CNC controller software, so I think it has different kinds of software that it expects to use. So but like I said, I use black walnut on this particular guitar. It, surprisingly enough, actually routes out cleaner than softwoods on this particular machine. The routes are much cleaner. It also routes it out much. It can route it out much quicker at a higher speed. The machine can move a lot quicker through it, even though it is a hardwood. Um, the chip out's also completely different on hardwood versus software or softwood on this machine. So that's another thing to consider is what kind of woods you're going to be using if you get a machine like this. This is a 3040 CNC, which refers to the bed size. But you can fit, as you can see, a full-size guitar body in it and route out the neck pocket, both neck and bridge pickup without having to move the body. And also you could drill holes for the bridge in one operation on this machine with probably just having to switch out bits. But it depends. If you have good quality 1/8" bits, you probably wouldn't need to switch out at all. As you can see, there's a channel that I routed out in the guitar body. It's exposed. Here I'm going to be drilling out a bulk of the control cavity on the drill press. I found for really, really large routes like this, it actually is just faster and more efficient to do them by hand. And I usually use a 1" drill bit on the drill press. In this case, it's a Fosner bit. I just drill it out, do all the precision work with a router. I found that it's just easier to do it this way, and if it's not easier, it's definitely faster. Another way to do this, and I probably should have done it the way I'm about to describe, is to actually take and before you've glued the two pieces together, just cut out most of the what would be the control cavity with like a jigsaw. Use a jigsaw to cut it out on the bottom piece. Doing it that way saves a lot of time. It didn't think to do it that way on this particular guitar. I have done it that way in the past. I don't know if I just didn't have a jigsaw available to me, but definitely the next time I do a sandwich glue up like this, I'll do it that way. Other way you could do it is to have the CNC just cut out the shape with just not a single pass, but just one line of the precise shape. Just have it cut out a big chunk of it, and that would also be the more precise way to do it, to have the CNC do it, but I just chose not to do it that way. Here it is. You can see the cavity that I drilled out, what it looks like. You just come in and finish it up with a template and a router, but I did it freehand actually. I didn't use a template. It comes out okay when you do it like that. Here I am just routing it out. It saves a lot of wear on your router bits when you do it the other way. Fosner bits are relatively easy to sharpen, so where router bits aren't quite so easy to sharpen, so that's why I choose to do it that way. You just remove most of the excess wood out with the drill press, and then you just go in with the router and just clean it all up. If you're careful, you can get a good control cavity route this way. I don't always do it this way. Like I said, I usually attach a template. I just chose not to do it this time because I felt like I could get a good clean cavity route without it. And like I said, if you're careful, you can do it for a control cavity like this. I wouldn't recommend trying to do a neck pocket, for example, freehand. You'll probably mess it up. So you definitely want to use a template if you're going to be doing it by hand. But you could also use just a hammer and chisel. You could drill out most of the waste and just come in and clean it up with a hammer and chisel. I've done it that way before. Now, this is one of the things that I could have done on the CNC, and I usually do on the CNC. is drilling out the bridge holes. I didn't get them real straight, but it didn't really affect the guitar because of the size hole that I drilled in it to begin with. So you don't even notice it when you're looking in from the top of it, the bridge. Uh, One problem was though is there was a little bit of bit deflection, so the holes in the back didn't come out straight. So I used the CNC on the holes in the back, and you're going to see what I'm talking about when you use freeware software. If you watch this part of the video, you'll notice that the bit kind of jumps around, and it stops and is jerky and everything, and it comes up, and it wound up getting all the holes straight and drilled where they were supposed to be, even though it doesn't look that way in the video. They did turn out straight, and they came out perfect. But the program that I used to map out the holes and everything uh, just produced some really glitchy G code, and it locked up a couple times, I think, and I had to kind of restart the code and go back to um, the last line that it was at, and start from there. But this operation, this part of building the guitar actually took 4 or 5 times longer. I edited out all the parts where it just completely stopped. But this is what happens when you don't use good software to do something. Well, anyways, guys, thanks for checking out my video. I appreciate your time and everything. Hopefully you have fun watching these videos. I've got the next part coming up in a few days. Um, Also, I'm going to be working on a full review of this machine, this particular CNC, so you guys can kind of make a decision for yourself. A lot of people have been asking me for it, if I would do a much more in-depth review of it and give some specs and stuff on it, and how fast it can move and all that. And I'm going to go ahead and do that as soon as I can and get that posted, um, hopefully in the coming weeks. Thank you guys. If you like my content, please feel free to subscribe and smash that like button. Thank you.